off by going through some feedback from Marco on a merge request to add some automations. So I'm just applying that quickly while we find something more meaty to get sunk into. So the first comment, I was only looking at workflow ready for review. But it's reasonably easy. I've kind of duplicated it to look at both, but because we've got common actions and common conditions, it's not a massive amount of duplication. I think I haven't tried it yet. I'll try it in a minute and see if it works. But yeah, so that's that one, I think. So we've got two that will do the same thing, but one's for ready for review and the other one's for in review. I checked and that one doesn't seem to, like, there's none in that state without reviewers attached at the moment. But
I totally forgot about that label. It just popped into my head when I saw my MR this morning with that label on.
Yeah, there's definitely, it's one of those things, but because it's a manual process at the moment, very few people are really doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. So the other annoying thing, I wonder if you and me are able to debug this. Maybe we can while we're at it. Yeah, so that looks like it's failed already. Okay, so we need to improve. Where is it? Resource nodes helper. No, that's the spec. Resource nodes helper. We need to improve this regular expression.
Mm-hmm.
So what would we say? Would it be white? Oh no, comma.
So not only, because when you remove two reviewers, there's only the end. When you have multiple reviewers, you have the comma.
Okay, so we don't want a comma or a white space.
Hi, Raymond.
Afternoon, Raymond.
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
Right, thanks, and you?
Yeah, very well, very well. I'm just applying some of Marco's feedback at the moment to that MR that you also had a quick squiz at this morning. How's your regex, Raymond?
I come from the Perl world, so I think my regex is fairly
yeah,
easy.
Awesome. So we want to only grab the first reviewer when multiple reviewers are unassigned at the same time. So if there's 3 or more reviewers, then they're comma separated. If there's 2 reviewers, then they come like that. So we sort of want to say either, I think we want to say there's not we don't want a comma or a space, but there might be a better way to sort of say only get A to Z, but then I think you can have hyphens and underscores and dots and other bits in username.
Well, the question is what characters are allowed in a GitLab username. I would, off the top of my head, I would imagine letters, numbers, hyphens, underscores, and dots.
Can we have hyphens?
Yeah, my name's got a hyphen in it.
Oh, yeah, right.
So let me.
So if that, then what about \W? \W is a word character clause.
Would that pick up the comma though?
I suppose comma won't.
Actually, I really like that actually.
\W, and then we'll have to add
replace or remove the comma afterwards.
Yeah, so \W will pick up any word character, so letter, number, underscore. So you have to add
the plus
and dashes to that.
Oh yeah.
Have to add dash. Okay.
And that would be the \W plus.
Yes.
Because that's going to pick up that. But instead of just go back to your \W and pop a square brackets around the \W.
Yeah.
Keep the plus on the outside.
Yeah.
And then inside there, put a
Pipe.
\W catches underscore. Put a hyphen, and put a \dot in. Yes, that should catch most things.
Should it be a hyphen or a pipe?
Well, that's because we want it to catch. I think each letter between each character. So that's the sort of square brackets. That's saying either if it's a word, or it's a hyphen, or it's a dot.
Yeah. So that's a set of things that we want to catch.
Okay, I thought you were using the hyphen to separate the word and the dot.
Oh, right. No. Yeah, the hyphen is actually something we want to catch.
What doesn't it like about this regular expression? I presume that's what it's complaining about.
Unmatched range specifier in character class. Just try to take the hyphen out for a second.
Yeah. I think that probably needs a backslash as well, doesn't it?
We might need to.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to need to backslash.
I'm going to have a look. I've got another Visual Studio open. How can I check the username? Maybe in the model/user.rb, there'll be something to do with regex. Here we go. Reference use. Not sure if that's what I want. So what's it come back with? Okay, that's good. But I want what I quite like to do is do the most complex. So if we can have dots and hyphens and underscores, etc.
Yeah. So call it ruby-goo.ru or something.
But what I'm trying is just to see if we've got like a regex or something in. Just wondering how where we do the validation in the GitLab project, because I'd rather than guess and assume that you can have a dot, a hyphen, and an underscore. That's why I was kind of leaning in the opposite direction. We know that everything up until a comma or a space should be captured. So I wonder if. So what did we have before?
So you can put the dot slash there, and then after that pop a a character class of either end of line. So not it would be
not
a dollar, not a tilde.
Well, no, I'm trying to say it's not. Isn't this used for not?
No, just I would say search for either end of line, so dollar. No, inside that one there, dollar or
comma or space.
Comma or space, or space would be a \s.
Yeah, I like that. Because we're being more explicit. We're fairly sure at the moment that we.
Okay, no, that's
it's being
catching.
Greedy, so we need to tell it to be lazy, do we? Or
yes. How do we tell regex to be lazy? Question mark rather than a plus. It's put
thought that was meant one or none, whereas plus means
Yes, I think you've got to
any.
use the question mark and the plus.
Ah,
Possibly. Plus question mark.
see what that's finding. That looks good.
So yeah, ru.b dash goo underscore ru or something.
Yeah. In fact, we can probably just get a bit simpler. If you call that simpler.
Yeah, that's.
I'm just going to try one with a space. I suppose I should put them all in, shouldn't I?
I'm trying to find the regex.
Oh, in the user.rb or somewhere similar.
Funny enough,
Yeah.
I have user.rb open, so
That looks good to me. Yeah, I have it open, but I couldn't see it at a glance.
Because I don't think it's there. Because you should also be able maybe to customize the regex to not allow user to have certain usernames.
Yeah, I thought we had something like that, but maybe it's in a service rather than it's not handling end of line. Could I do question mark at the end of that? No, probably not. Because that's not forcing it to.
I think that finding that regex is a rabbit hole that I don't want to go down to.
Move around too much. Back to get up. It takes a while to get up and move somewhere. Make sense to you start off before you get there, but otherwise you're like, well, just related bastards or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Jerome, do you know why it's not like in the end of line?
yeah, so possibly just take the end of line out of that
Yeah.
and pop a plus after that square bracket or a question mark. Yeah.
I tried question mark and that only returned an R.
No, question mark after there. Yeah, that. So
Plus question mark.
No, just question mark there.
If I do that, it just returns R.
Without the dollar inside.
I believe so, but I will check it just to make sure. Yeah, just R.
Yeah, because I suppose we made
It's lazy, so it's just taking what exactly. It's just taking one character and it's saying, "Oh, I don't need anything else. I can just give up."
Yeah.
Be enough. No, because if it doesn't find that, it's going to return now. I think plus might be right, you know. Oh, blimey. That's a bit random. Are they flaky tests? Or... It's bad, doesn't it? But that does not. Yeah, because that's not optional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not right.
Yeah, there's a regex that specify an email address regex pattern to identify default internal users. I think I'm gonna try to register a username with some special characters inside it.
And see if it comes up and tells you what you can and can't do.
Yeah.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
There is a check username format inside user.rb. Looks to see if the username is blank. Or you've got a MIME extension in there.
Oh, yeah. That rings a bell. Okay, I've got it working with the new line now, but can I get it working if I go back and do and browse and view? That looks promising. And with a space.
New user.
Yeah, I think we got it. So we were saying remove your view request for, then there's an at, and then there's
okay, yeah. So instead of putting the dollar as a character class, it's in there as an or.
Yeah.
You could, if you wanted to, take the or between the comma and the space out and put them in a square bracket inside there, but it's functionally.
I think I can read that easier to say it's either the end of the line or a comma or a space.
I have a hint. This is what the message says when you try to register a user with an exclamation mark on the username.
Start with it. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean the way
that's exactly what we kind of thought.
Yeah, but underscores, dashes, dots, but yeah, this should do nicely though, I think, right?
Now I want to see where that message comes from.
Right. So. And the last one, should we also consider in review? Okay, you've already mentioned that, I think. Okay, I think we're good. So let me just show you what we've ended up with. So we've tweaked our regex. We've removed ready for review from common conditions, and instead we've got two separate conditions, one with ready for review and one with in review. We have tweaked the message, so we mentioned the author. Raymond, seeing as I've got you here, were you sort of in agreement with that as well, that you think it's good, it's okay to mention the author and ping them?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. So yeah, we're mentioning the author. What else have we got? And then we've got a slightly more complex test. Yeah, I think that covered all of Marco and your observations.
Yeah, I think so.
This is where it always explodes. Do you sign your commits?
I sign them. That my capital S is automatic in Git, and I add a small s for DCO for every one of my commits. Also,
Gotcha.
You need the -m.
I do, yeah, good spot. And then it's going to fail for a different reason. So I have to do this.
What GPG system are you using on your Mac?
Which GPG would that tell me?
You're using the GPG straight out of Homebrew. There is, if you install the official GPG package for Mac, it can tie your key into your keyring, and then it just magically works.
Nice, I like magic.
I'll send you a link.
Awesome, thank you. Just open Notepad so I can scribble. Right, thank you for indulging. So, does anyone have anything specific for today?
Wait, I still have the EMR to fix the to-dos, but I'm basically done with that. So
oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, so you were having some issues with the tests, but you got those now.
Yeah, the tests are basically fixed. I did have another problem, but I actually fixed it right before starting the stream.
Cool, nice. I like to hear it.
Yeah.
And your time log one's moving along nicely as well.
Yeah, I actually got feedback from reviewers and applied the suggestion and I'm waiting for new suggestions to come.
Awesome.
Yes. So I don't actually know what to talk about.
I always have a list prepared, but Raymond, seeing as I don't think you've had the opportunity to bring anything to the table, you got anything you're digging at the moment you'd like?
So I'm busy scratching the surface of adding extra networks to the
user profile.
To the user profile. There is a community contributor that has been doing some refactoring in that space over the last few releases, which is awesome to see. And that is moving some of the attributes out of the user table into a user detail table.
Right.
Which is nice, but now I'm just trying to make sure that whatever changes I do, I don't go and step in and toes on sort of work that's in flight. But at the same time, Brian mentioned in Discord towards the end of last week, it might also be quite cool to add Discord as a OAuth. For GitLab. So that would be another cool thing to put in.
Absolutely. So with regards to the splitting it out into a separate table, that's interesting because I was going to say I don't know how wide the. No, I don't want to share this one. I want to share a different. Yeah, I don't know how wide the user table is, but I know it's certainly long, if that's the correct term. And we, for example, if you want to add a field to project, no can do really, because it's too big. The table's too long and too wide, so we have to find another table. So I'm interested to see how big, how wide specifically the users table is, because yeah,
it's chunky.
I think that if you created a migration to add it to that table, or are you going to wait?
My migration is adding it to user details.
Awesome, yeah.
So the legacy attributes are still here, but over the last couple of releases, that data is being migrated into the user details table.
Although saying that,
so there's the LinkedIn, Twitter, Skype, website URL, bio, etc.
So the only thing I'm still have in mind is this going to be a one-to-one relationship? So there's always going to be a record in this table for every user?
Yes.
So what's the point in doing it then?
Yeah.
Do you know the answer to that? Or?
I think it's simply to sort of narrow down the users table, and this I suppose could be cached with the user record. But it's, if I dig out those MRs that I've been looking at with the changes over the last couple of releases, as well as there is a issue that there is an issue that covers this. So let me start by linking that one into.
Just, I think we had a previous conversation, and I mentioned about what if we were to have like a one-to-many type relationship, so that I know key value pairs maybe isn't quite the right approach, but obviously if a user's only got either a LinkedIn or a Twitter or a Skype or a website URL, etc., it would make more sense to kind of have it in that structure rather than a table that's got a column for each different type of social network, which I guess is only going to grow. It's only going to go in one direction.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
So this is the issue I've just linked in, and you can see there's already several changes, and there's currently one in flight.
This table has a few string columns.
So I think one of the reasons why the move also is that the existing fields inside users have no restriction on them. There's no constraints, so they've been constrained in the new subtable.
I think also the read, looking at that issue, it sort of says that the columns are rarely used. So I think that's probably a good reason. Like when a user logs in, I guess it loads the user record, but doesn't need the bio or the Twitter or the LinkedIn. That would only be if someone's actually navigating to
the profile.
Exactly. So that does make some sense, but I'm not sure quite how the lock-in and all that kind of stuff works, but I guess it does separate it. So if you're adding a column to this table, it's not going to lock the user table or users table when you're adding the column and creating the migration, etc. So it makes sense. So how far along did you want to share your screen? Do you need to do a bit more work on that MR now, or?
Yeah, I sort of started by getting stuck in and changing a couple of things, and then I spent half of yesterday sort of just going through the existing changes that have been going on in that space. So I think I'm good for now. Just want to I've still just got to hack a couple of things in, and yeah, so I don't know if there's anything I can share at the moment besides just that. Yeah, my GDK is broken because it's moaning that I've got this field because I've changed some of the handles without actually changing the model. And it changed it the wrong way around. Maybe I should go and put a test in there first.
I got tripped up by the Ruby 2.77 upgrade this morning. I don't know if you've done a recent GDK update, but
I haven't,
know
no.
if you get tripped up by it, I'm also yes, I'm sharing the right thing. Also now contributing from this fork. So if
nice, so I was going to suggest that that's possibly one of the next things I need to do is switch over to that fork.
For the Mars, I'm also going to do that.
Awesome, appreciate it. Thank you very much. So
anyone that is watching this, if you want to get access to this fork, we're running a communal fork for contributors, and if you want to help us test out the process around it, by all means, just ping us in Discord and we can add you and see how it works, and let's see if we can find a efficient way for people to contribute.
Or use the request access button on the project page.
Yeah, that works too.
So I've got another one in progress, just trying to kind of tick off I don't know if I'd call it tech day. So yeah, I probably would actually. So, we worked together a couple of weeks ago on the project language filter. So that's stalled a little bit, but it's still got some eyes on it. Mainly it's a database performance. So I hit a number of challenges. The first was which languages do we show in the drop down? So I went to Stack Overflow and I picked from their most recent poll the top languages, but then got a little bit of pushback on that as well. So one of the next logical steps would be to pull the languages from the database anyway. So that way there's no kind of which language. There was concerns, although, just do it, I suppose. But that, everyone's going to say, I'm going to raise a merge request to add this language and, etc. So reasonably quick wins seem to be to pull the languages from the database, but there's not an optimization that I can see to query the repository languages table to get the most popular ones, because I think the operation involves essentially returning everything from that table and then doing the counts and the grouping to figure it all out. So that's a bit of a challenge. And then the actual filtering itself, that's quite a database heavy operation as well, but I've got some database team having a bit of a look, and I've done lots of poking around, trying to create some new indexes, etc. So hopefully that's making progress. But off the back of that, I found that there was already a feature flag in place. So I don't know if this will work, but I'm going to try it. Master. No, I've obviously got to rebase. Let's try that. So I'm going to try my diff. So yeah, there's a feature flag. Where are we? Project list filter bar that was introduced 4 years ago, and it's just never been switched on.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's initially I was like, okay, so I've got to consider that feature flag with my feature flag, and it all became a bit complex. And then we sort of poked around and said, well, look, if this has never been switched on, then should we just delete that feature? So I've just spun up another quick MR to do that and have a few failing tests.
What does that feature do?
So it changes the look and feel a little bit of the project list screen, like the filter navigation bar, just subtly. I think it splits out at the moment. This is where it's annoying, where I can't share multiple windows at the same time. At the moment, when you go onto the project listing, you've got a drop down that has the sort by, the archived, show, hide, and the owned by me or owned by anyone. And I think it splits some of those out into separate kind of toggles, buttons, drop downs, etc. Yeah, it was just a bit of a UI revamp, but from what I understand, there's a strong kind of lean to move this towards view, and use the GL filtered search, the magical one that we have on the issues list and the merge requests list, etc., that has the kind of widgets in it. So rather than you having to have a separate box to filter by language and a separate box to filter by name and a separate box to filter by archive, they would all be kind of widgets or tokens in that filtered search bar. So I think that is kind of the next logical step. But I've just got a few test failures where I've tried to pull out that feature. So I'm hoping they're not going to be too...
I'm pretty sure that moving over to view will be one of the next steps, because I know that they're working on redesigning all the navigation. So I'm pretty sure that they will also work on that.
Is that the left, like the sidebar navigator, or the top navigator, or both?
Actually the whole navigation inside GitLab.
Right, okay.
So the top bar and the sidebar mostly, but also the projects page, groups page, those areas too.
Nice. I know it gets a bit confusing, if that's the right word. Yeah, where we've got a lot of mixed, like Haml and Vue. So I think that the projects list might already be Vue, but the sort of sort, search, filter bit at the top isn't Vue.
I'm not too sure.
The reason I think that is because if you go on and do a search for projects, that it's real time. So if you type GitLab into your project search, it will update the project list without you having to submit the form. And it might be possible that you can do that in Haml, but I didn't think so. So I'm a bit confused. Is it not actually running the tests? What's it saying? The following gems are missing. You think it would do it itself, right?
So just a quick question on bin/rspec or bundle rspec, and
yes,
using bin/things or bundle space things. Which is better? Because funnily enough, I actually posted something on internal Slack yesterday, but I'm happy to discuss it here. I noticed if I was using bin/things, like db migrate, then all these bin stubs would get created every time, and my working, I'd have a whole load of untracked bin files and everything. As soon as I moved to bundle exec, that all just went away. But
That's interesting. Yeah, I think I just use bin because it's like a fraction less to type. No, I've not got any real, I use it because it does this or it doesn't do that or it's better or worse. Yeah, I don't really know what the bin stubs, how they're created. And as you can see, mine's currently broken by the looks of it. I don't know why when I do bundle install, it says everything's good. But when I try and run the tests, it says I'm missing all of these gems. I think that's to do with that. It's guaranteed to do with the Ruby version.
So we did update to a newer Ruby version.
2.7.7, yeah. So I got some weird errors and found that I had to reinstall the GitLab Development Kit gem, and that sort of made stuff start working again, but clearly not this. Is there a like bundle clean or purge or?
Oh, cleaning all the gems is dangerous.
Should I do it?
Well, will it clean the whole system gems or only that folder gems?
Okay, how do I do it? Only the oh, life is never easy, is it? Bundle commands.
it's probably like git you'll have to do it man bundle dash clean.
Utilities. Oh, so is this kind of what you were maybe referring to, Raymond, the bin stubs?
Yeah.
Unused gems. Oh, in the bundle directory.
I'm tempted. What's the worst that could happen, right?
Oh, well.
Okay, it didn't get rid of much at all, to be honest. Because they're unused, I guess.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to clean, as in, I guess uninstall all the gems and then just reinstall. Yeah, just uninstall and reinstall, really.
Is that on a branch or is it on master?
Well, I'm on a branch, but I just rebased from master.
Okay. Which version of Ruby am I using?
So it might say which versions.
I think you've got to say ASDF list Ruby or ASDF installed Ruby or something.
Okay.
There you go.
Right, so should I try cheating for a moment and ASDF? Is it current?
Select.
Yeah. ASDF local. See if just rolling back would get me up and running again for a minute. I thought these were supposed to be like, I thought these just worked. Well, ASDF took care, or I should say GDK and ASDF took care of all this stuff.
Containers are the way to go.
GCK, yeah. Is that going to be our next week's?
I'm so used to having containers be like a natural action for me. Having one tool managing multiple copies of a dependency is still very much a scary world for me.
Yeah.
That's a lot of gems.
So apparently GDK has just been merged 5 minutes ago with 2.7.7. So that's the other thing that maybe that's. I saw a few people saying they were having problems because GDK was using a different version of Ruby to GitLab. So maybe now that they've been aligned, that might resolve the issue that I was having there.
Just to be sure, I'm not going to update my GDK until you say that it's working.
Well, I was also, I expect now it's quite normal, but my CPU or my Mac and the temperature has been, or actually the temperature is worse. I'm up to 100 degrees. Blimey.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing on your Mac.
Well, I'm doing a GDK. No, I'm not doing a GDK update. I'm doing a bundle install. But I noticed yesterday for the first time in the evening that I could hear the fan running, and yeah, it was getting quite hot.
What are you doing with that Mac?
I upgraded to Ventura. I'm going to blame that for the moment.
I've been on Ventura since like the day after we were able to do it, and haven't noticed any change resource-wise.
That once this bundle install finishes, it'll drop back. I basically did a reboot a couple of hours ago when the CPU was constantly running at 100% and it was quite hot, and that resolved it. But you would imagine it would, because when you reboot, nothing's running. But we'll see once this is finished.
Well, I had this Mac for 6 months, more than 6 months now, and I never heard its fan spinning up.
Yeah, I think that's the first time I've heard it in about 3 months. So
yeah, and also you have a lot of crashes that I never experienced.
Yeah, I haven't had a crash for a few weeks or since we last spoke about it. In fact, I shouldn't say that. Although Discord still crashes, but I think that's a Discord bug, not a Mac bug, if that makes sense.
I think that's your Discord bug.
What's that? Sorry.
I think that's your Discord bug.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something strange you're doing on there must be. But yeah, on Twitch, a bit Roddy says use Gitpod.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
you can
true.
always use Gitpod for these things. It does definitely help.
Yeah, and seeing as we are pushing it a lot now. So, and now the first time you run a test after sort of doing something like this, it has to recompile Getly and stuff, right?
I think that Christos is watching.
I think, I can't remember the time. No, it's still not coming up. Still not coming up. So, check out master. Wait for half an hour. Oh, God. Can't find you.
Christos said that since it's winter, it's nice to have some little extra heat.
Absolutely. So now that bundle's finished, it's dropped back down 69 degrees, 24%, etc. So I think
That's not too bad.
Yeah. Just when it's flat out.
Also, have you ever actually rebooted or shut down the Mac?
I think I probably, when I upgraded to Ventura, and then this morning when I was hot and high CPU, but other than that, I don't tend to do it as a matter of course.
Okay, no, because I rebooted mine the other day when I had the issues with GDK, and I'm pretty sure it was a couple of months at least that I didn't rebooted it.
I'm not sure if that's good or bad. I
No,
think
me
it's
neither.
good. But then when I rebooted, I lost, like, my dock had sort of reverted to defaults. So all the apps had disappeared and the size and position and everything was all back to default. So I was like, oh, okay, thanks.
That's strange.
Yeah. Yeah, all these people that love Apple.
I don't love Apple, but we have to give credits where credits are due. I would
Yeah.
never go back to a Windows laptop.
I think the reason that they do a pretty good job is because they haven't got, a million different things to support. It's their
Yeah,
own hardware, right? Whereas Windows, Linux, etc. Like if Linux was only supported on like Dell Inspirons, then I imagine it would be unbelievable. But because
yeah, it's the same problem with iOS and Android.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Android has to run on anything you throw it at, whereas iOS have got a very limited set of devices. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, even when developing applications for Android, when you have to go down talking directly to the OS, for example, when you have to implement Bluetooth or some things like that, there are certain things that are vendor dependent. So based on the device manufacturer, some
Right.
things will change. That sucks.
This isn't going to finish anytime soon. It's not majorly important anyway. So, see if there's anything else we want to chat about before we disappear. So, I'm thinking, especially off the back of last week, because we were talking a lot about kind of community reviews and all those bits and pieces. And again, it looks like you've ticked a lot of that off since last week, right, Marco?
Yeah, it's working. I actually still have to try to assign the review to a contributor. And that's the only thing that I still have to try out. But the command to unassign myself from I guess everyone can use that command. It wouldn't make any sense for someone from the team to use that. But yeah, now we can remove ourselves from the reviewers list. So that's nice.
I'm just trying to think on that MR that I asked you to review earlier on. I mean, you could always use that as a test, couldn't you? You're still assigned at the moment, but you could always unassign yourself, reassign yourself, just say.
I can unassign myself, but I won't be able to assign myself back because I'm not the author of the EMR.
Oh, I thought we removed that restriction, but no, we removed it so that you're no longer restricted to only being able to assign team members.
Yeah.
But it's still limited who can run that command.
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense. So yeah, next step, I guess, is sort of I said gentle communication. So we and the people we interact with, mention it, maybe mention it on Discord. So a few others will start using it, and then once we're pretty happy, then we update the docs or spin up the docs pretty much straight away, I guess.
Yeah, the docs I think can be updated right away. and just communicate, and then communicate over on Discord the changes.
And it starts off that you can assign community members as reviewers, and you can unassign yourself using these commands, but with maybe little in the way of direction of if or when, or if and when you should do that, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of, if you're aware of someone that you know, a community member you've interacted with in the past that you'd like to review this, then this is how
there's
to request.
also the MR coaches thing idea that came up for you from the community. That's one next step that we could have a look at, because
remind me, I know you were working on adding like interests, topics, areas, or whatever you want to call them to the sort of heroes. Yeah. What was the coaches thing that you just mentioned? What was that?
No, the coaches thing was actually something that Nick mentioned.
Right.
That we could ping MR coaches also from the community and not also from the team members, but we have to have a pool of users to pick from. And that's what I was thinking about the heroes as a first step.
I don't quite follow. So at the moment, if you do @GitLab bot ready, don't put a name, then it picks a coach automatically, right?
Yes.
If you know who you want to assign it to, team member, you do @GitLab bot ready and then the team member. Now, if you know community members as well, you can list them. So you already can assign coaches, or they get auto assigned. What's the change that we're suggesting?
Well, what Nick suggested was a bit more intricate, because he was talking about if you @GitLab ready a team member, when you don't mention someone from the community, also pick a random community member.
Right.
And when you only pick directly community members and not team members, pick an MR coach from the team.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we're anywhere near that, are we? We'd need a pool of hundreds of community members who wanted to be MR coaches.
Well, maybe not a pool of MR, a pool of hundreds of MR coaches. It also depends on how frequently we want to ping them, because if it's
if it's between 0, 100 and 100 hours UTC, then we'll pick one, or something weird like that.
Yes and no, because if we have a small pool, of course, the amount of requests to the same person will be higher.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But it also depends when we actually want to pick someone from that pool, because if you want to ping someone when from the MR coaches from the community, when we don't specify a community member to review, that's going to be a lot of requests, because 90% of the time you're going to get ask review from a team member and not from the community.
Yeah, I would have said so.
So that pool of community members to do a review, I was thinking about using the GitLab heroes as an initial pool.
Yeah, I just don't see how we're gonna overcome that. Like, I don't think we can ping, like you say, unless there's a big pool, we can't always ping someone.
Yeah.
And I'm still excited about changing it to a pull rather than a push. Like, wouldn't it be better if you could just have a look? I think it makes sense if you've got certain interests, topics, areas that you're interested in, then create a subscription on those labels, right? So time tracking is one of mine that I'm interested in. So subscribe to the label. Anyone raises a merge request, you get pinged on it. Yes, we could definitely improve that, because you might say, well, I don't want to know when they raise the merge request. I want to know when the merge request is ready for review.
Yes.
But
that's actually another thing that we thought about. That's when you we have two cases, which are when you request a review or when the merge request is actually triaged, or it has to be triaged, because if we have labels, for example, for backend, frontend, technical writing, or database, or something like that, to use as scopes, we could create some channels over on Discord, and when someone uses
that I like more, yeah.
at GitLab ready, so you ask a review with EMR is has already been triaged, so we have the labels, we know what topics this MR is covering, so we can put a message on those channels on Discord to say, hey community, this MR is ready to review, do you want to have a look?
Yeah, I like that. So, but you're saying for like specific groups or topics or something, are you, for that? Or
yeah, I was thinking about scoping the Discord channels, for example, on backend, front-end, technical writing, and the topic that we can come up with.
yeah,
But
I like that. But then again, I think in the sort of interest of iteration, like maybe we should just start with a single channel, and if we pop the labels, so if we pop a message in there to say, and then that would be a bit like my pull queue that I mentioned about, where there's just kind of a list of, the only challenge is that you wouldn't know what the current state of anything in that list was without kind of clicking on it. But I think we could have, just it being like, right, okay, this community MR is ready for review. If you fancy taking a look at it, take a look at it. And maybe we could pin to the channel, we could pin a link to the merge request list that is filtered in a certain way for merge requests that are ready to review, and a few other bits and pieces, so that there's some links in there if you just wanted to kind of have a look at the up-to-date list. I don't think it's a concern, but I think what would happen with the channel that's just constantly getting pinged is, you'd have a look in there and you might grab the most recent item. But actually, maybe what would be nicest is if you grab the oldest item, but you'd need to know that that old item was still sort of in review.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
it's almost as if you need some sort of dashboard, just sort of showing that things and sort of surface reviews.
Yeah,
to look at.
But I think this is what I touched on last week, though, saying that the merge request list is that dashboard.
Yeah.
And if there's any gaps, I think we should really kind of strive to fill those gaps in the product, rather than creating any kind of weird, like, reviewer roulette type dashboard, if that makes sense.
Actually, what if we use a dashboard? So you have all the MRs that are ready for review, and then you have columns based on the topic.
What do you mean by a dashboard? Sorry, Marco.
Issue boards.
Oh, a board. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, wrong term.
Yeah, that's interesting. So we could filter the board as a whole to only show stuff that's ready for review.
Yes.
We could have columns for the group.
Yes.
Or what and then you can look at the one that you're interested in if you're interested in it. That sounds pretty cool. Let me share a different window quickly and have a look. So, I don't like the fact that if I share my screen, the first thing you see is always super secret something or other. You know what I should do? I should log in as somebody else, but I'm not going to. Right, GitLab org. I'm going to switch my screen any minute now. So we want merge. You can't. There's no such thing as a merge request board. Damn.
Oh.
Great idea, Marco. I loved it, honestly, but.
Oh, that's a shame. Should we implement it?
Maybe. No, I'm sure there's a lot that's required, like silly things like positioning, like where you can drag and drop, and
that would be a huge feature request.
Yeah, but do you know what? It's a really interesting can of worms you open up, because the reporting, time tracking reporting and stuff that we're talking about in places, and that I want for my other sort of job it's important that you're looking, like, issues and merge requests aren't that different. They both work, and that's why it's quite nice that no, actually I'm lying, aren't they? Merge requests aren't work items. Issues are work items, but I don't think merge requests are. But they should be in my eyes, because it's work.
I think that on the long term they will be.
Maybe I have definitely asked that question, and the sort of nod at the time was that there's no intention of doing that, but that might change. But I do think that there should be a view that consolidates issues and merge requests, because I don't know, as a service provider using GitLab, like, are you always going to have an issue alongside a merge request? And if you don't, so if you don't, how do you then track your list of work?
Using merge requests.
What's that, sorry?
Using merge requests.
So then what about stuff that you haven't created? You know exactly what I'm saying. I guess I'm kind of being hypothetical, right? So, oh God, what have we unleashed? Okay. Well, we're pretty much at time now anyway. I will share whatever the solution is to my GDK woes as soon as I have it. But it pretty much seems like this weekly session is like causes my GDK to break every week, which isn't overly encouraging, but we won't let it get us down. Hey. Anyone else for anything else?
Not really.
Nope.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Same.
See you later. Bye-bye.